Anxious about your first solo flight, this story is your complete guide from airport panic to confidently exploring Paris, packed with every crucial tip, cost, and secret I discovered on my dream trip. Subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss our next adventure together. Today's story is very special because I am going to share an unforgettable experience with you, my first flight to Paris. This is not just a story, it is a journey. And on this journey, I will introduce you to many new phrases, useful vocabulary, and important travel tips. By the end of this story, you will feel as if you traveled with me. You will learn everything you need to know about flying alone for the first time. My name is Nick, and this journey is very special to me. Everybody loves traveling, I think. But my trip was extra special. It was not only my first flight, but it was also a trip to my dream destination, Paris. Paris is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It is the capital of France, and it is a place filled with history, romance, and culture. It is known as the most romantic city in the world, famous for its delicious food, its artistic museums, its high fashion, and of course the iconic Eiffel Tower. I had always dreamed of visiting Paris. I imagined walking along the Seine River, exploring the luxury boutiques, and sitting in a cute little cafe with a croissant and a cup of coffee. And now, finally, that dream was coming true. But before I could reach Paris, I had to go through something I had never done before. I had to take my first flight. I started my day very early in the morning. The sun was not even up yet. I woke up feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. My heart was beating a little faster than usual. The first thing I did was double-check my packing. Packing is very, very important when you are traveling by flight because airlines have strict rules. I had two types of bags. The first was my checked luggage. This is the big suitcase that goes in the airplane's cargo hold under the plane. The second was my hand luggage, which is a small bag I could carry with me inside the plane. The airline had a weight limit for both. My big suitcase could not be more than 23 kilograms, and my hand luggage had a limit of 7 kilograms. I had packed my clothes, shoes, toiletries, and other essential things. Then, just before leaving for the airport, I realized I forgot something very important. My medicine. I panicked for a moment. My heart stopped. Oh no, I thought. What will I do? But then I calmed myself down. I took a deep breath and remembered something very useful. Airports have medical shops, so if you ever forget something important like medicine, do not worry. You can usually buy it at the airport. It was a good lesson to learn. With everything finally packed, I took my passport, my visa, my tickets, and some cash in both dollars and euros. It's always a good idea to carry some cash when you are traveling because not all places accept credit cards, and exchanging money at the airport is often more expensive. I booked a taxi to the airport. As I sat in the back of the car, I watched the city lights pass by through the window. My heart was racing, but this time it was with pure excitement. This was really happening. My adventure was beginning. As I entered the airport, I was greeted by a huge, bright terminal. It was full of travelers from all over the world. There were big digital screens on the walls displaying flight details in bright letters. People were rushing with their luggage, families were saying goodbye with hugs and tears, and airport staff in smart uniforms were helping passengers. It felt like I had stepped into a different world, a world that was constantly moving. The first thing I had to do was check in. I found the counter for my airline. I walked up and showed the friendly staff member my passport and my ticket. In return, she gave me my boarding pass. This is a very important document that lets you get on the plane. My checked luggage, my big suitcase, was weighed. It was okay, just under the limit. Then it was sent away on a conveyor belt to the airplane. A little tip for you: if your luggage is overweight, you will have to pay extra money. So it is always smart to check the weight before you leave your home. Next came the part that made me a little nervous. The security check. This is a very serious part of traveling. It is where all passengers must pass through a scanner, and their hand luggage is checked for safety reasons. I placed my handbag, my phone, my laptop, and my jacket in a plastic tray. The tray moved along a belt and went into a big machine. Suddenly, a security officer told me to remove my watch, my belt, and my shoes. I was not expecting that. I felt a little shy. But then I looked around and saw that everyone else was doing the same thing. So if this happens to you, please don't feel shy or embarrassed. It happens to everyone. It is a normal part of the process. I walked through the security scanner. It beeped quietly as I passed. Thankfully, there were no issues. But remember, sharp objects like scissors or liquids in bottles that are bigger than 100 milliliters are not allowed in your hand luggage. Even your water bottle will be taken away. After the security check, it was time for immigration. This is where government officers check your passport, your visa, and your travel documents. The officer looked at my passport. He asked me a few simple questions. "Why are you traveling to Paris?" he asked. "Where will you stay? When will you return?" I answered his questions confidently and clearly. He stamped my passport with a sound that felt very official. With my documents cleared, I was free to go to the boarding gate area. I had some free time before my flight started boarding. I decided to explore the airport, and it was one of the most fun parts of the journey. The airport was like a mini-city. There were luxury shops, nice restaurants, bookstores, and even special lounges where people could relax. I walked into a duty-free shop. I saw perfumes, chocolates, and expensive brands at lower prices because they were tax-free. I was starting to feel hungry, so I went to the food court. There were so many choices. I decided to have a bowl of hot noodles. It felt so good to sit down, relax, and enjoy my meal while watching the huge airplanes take off from the runway through the big glass window. As I sat there eating my noodles, it finally hit me. It became real in my mind. I was really about to fly. Soon an announcement came over the speakers. My boarding gate was announced. I checked my boarding pass. It said Gate 14. I walked towards my gate number. An airline staff member checked my ticket one last time, and then I finally walked down a long corridor and entered the airplane. I had a window seat. I was so happy about this because I really wanted to see the clouds and experience the view from high up in the sky. The airplane was modern, clean, and comfortable. The cabin crew, the flight attendants, greeted me with a warm and friendly smile. I found my seat easily. The seat itself was cozy, and the air smelled fresh and clean. I placed my handbag under the seat in front of me as you are supposed to do. I fastened my seatbelt, heard the little click, and waited for the big moment takeoff. The airplane started moving slowly away from the gate. It moved towards the main runway. My heart was beating so fast. Then I heard the pilot's voice over the speaker. "Cabin crew, prepare for takeoff." Within seconds, the plane's engines became very loud. The plane accelerated. It moved faster and faster. I felt a gentle push back into my seat. I looked out the window. The ground disappeared. We were in the sky. I kept looking out of my window. The city below became smaller and smaller. The buildings looked like tiny toys. The cars looked like little ants. Soon all I could see were fluffy white clouds. It felt like I was floating in a dream. I had butterflies in my stomach, but it was the most amazing feeling ever. As I relaxed into my seat, I thought about how a few hours ago I was standing nervously in an airport. And now I was flying high above the world. Traveling alone for the first time might seem scary. But trust me, it is one of the most exciting experiences of life. You learn new things, you sometimes meet new people, and you discover how strong and independent you are. After many hours, the pilot's voice came on again. We were preparing to land. My heart started to beat fast again. I looked out the window and saw the lights of a city. Paris. A voice announced, "Welcome to Paris." The moment I stepped out of the airport, a cool breeze touched my face. The air smelled different. It was a mix of fresh bread, strong coffee, and something magical that I could not name. Paris had a charm, an elegance, a beauty that I had only seen in pictures. But now, I was finally here. I was breathing the air. I was standing on the ground. I had planned to stay for 3 days, and I wanted to see everything. So let's go explore Paris with me. The weather was a little chilly, but not freezing. It was around 10 degrees Celsius, or 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I put on a light sweater and my jacket. Paris has unpredictable weather, so it is always a good idea to carry a jacket and maybe a small umbrella. I took a taxi from Charles de Gaulle Airport to my hotel. The ride cost around €50, which was about $55, and the journey took about 45 minutes. On the way, I could not stop looking out of the window. I saw beautiful Parisian streets, charming old buildings with lovely balconies, and small cafes filled with people sipping coffee and talking. It was just like I had imagined. I had booked a cute little hotel near the city center. It cost about $120 per night. The best part. It had a balcony with a view of the Eiffel Tower. I could not believe it. I quickly checked in, dropped my bags in my room, and stepped right back out. I did not want to waste a single moment. My first destination was the Pont des Arts, which is also known as the Lovelock Bridge. This place is famous because couples from all over the world come here. They write their names on a lock, they attach it to the bridge, and then they throw the key into the Seine River below. It is a symbol of their unbreakable love. Even though I was alone, I still bought a lock for $5 from a nearby shop. I wrote my name on it and the date. I attached it to the bridge and made a wish to have an amazing time in Paris. The view from the bridge was breathtaking. The Seine River sparkled under the sunlight, boats passed by slowly, and people sat on the edge of the river, just talking and laughing. I took some pictures and then walked towards my next stop, the Louvre Museum. The Louvre is one of the biggest and most famous museums in the world. It has over 35,000 artworks. But my main goal, my mission, was to see the Mona Lisa. The entry ticket cost me $20 or €18. The museum was huge with beautiful grand architecture. Inside it was like stepping into another world. There were giant paintings, incredible sculptures, and golden ceilings that shimmered in the light. After walking through many long, echoing halls, I finally reached her, the Mona Lisa. She was smaller than I expected, but she was surrounded by a huge crowd of people, all holding up their phones. I stood there for a while looking at her famous face, trying to understand her expression. Is she happy or is she sad? I spent about another hour exploring more art, and then I decided it was time for lunch. I had heard about a famous restaurant called Pink Mama, which is known for its delicious Italian food and its beautiful interior design. I ordered their special truffle pasta, which cost $25, and a refreshing lemonade for $5. The food was rich, creamy, and full of incredible flavor. The restaurant itself was amazing. It had big glass windows, pink walls, and plants everywhere. It felt like a cozy, dreamy place. I enjoyed my meal, slowly savoring every single bite. After lunch, it was time for Disneyland. Visiting Disneyland in Paris felt like stepping into a real fairy tale. I had always dreamed of coming here. A one-day ticket cost $75 or €69. As soon as I entered, I saw the giant pink castle from the movies. Disney characters were walking around, waving at children, and happy music was playing in the background. I felt like a kid again. I ran towards my favorite ride, Space Mountain, which is a thrilling roller coaster in the dark, and Pirates of the Caribbean, a boat ride with amazing pirate scenes and treasure. I also loved It's a Small World, a cute and gentle ride that shows different cultures from around the globe. After enjoying the rides, I had a Mickey-shaped ice cream for $7 and a hot dog that cost $10. But the best part of the day was the parade at 500 p.m. All the Disney characters like Mickey, Minnie, and Cinderella danced through the streets on colorful floats. It was pure magic. Before leaving, I bought a small souvenir to remember my day, a keychain of the Eiffel Tower for $10. Next, I went to a newer part of the park called Avengers Campus. If you love Marvel movies, this place is a dream. I saw Iron Man's suit, I watched a Spider-Man web-swinging show, and I even met Captain America and took a picture with him. I tried the Spider-Man ride where you have to shoot webs at moving targets. It was so much fun. After spending a few more hours here, I was very tired, but so happy. It was time to head back to the city and explore more of Paris. As the sun began to set, I walked towards the Eiffel Tower. At night, it looked even more magical. It was covered in golden lights shining beautifully against the dark blue sky. I found a bench nearby and sat down, enjoying a chocolate crepe I bought for $6. The air was filled with the sweet smell of fresh pastries and warm coffee. At exactly 9:00 p.m., something amazing happened. The Eiffel Tower started to sparkle. Thousands and thousands of tiny lights flickered all over the tower like diamonds. Everyone around me stopped and looked. People started cheering and clapping. It was a truly unforgettable moment. Before ending my day, I decided to take a Seine River cruise to see Paris from the water. The ticket cost $20 or 18 euros. The boat had big glass windows and some open seating on the top deck. As the boat moved smoothly through the water, I saw Paris at night. Notre Dame Cathedral, the Louvre Museum, and of course the Eiffel Tower, all lit up and reflecting in the dark water. The city looked even more beautiful and romantic under the stars. I closed my eyes for a moment, feeling the cool breeze on my face, and I thought, this is the most perfect day of my life. Later that night, I lay in my hotel bed thinking about all the beautiful places I had seen and the wonderful memories I had made. Soon my eyes closed and I fell into a deep sleep, dreaming of one more perfect day in the city of love. It was my final day in Paris. I woke up early feeling both excited and a little sad because I knew I had to say goodbye to this magical city. Soon, but I promised myself I would make this last day count. I decided to visit a few more places to explore a bit deeper and to share all the little details with you. The first place on my list was Canal SaintMartin. It is not as famous as the Eiffel Tower or Notre Dame, but it is one of the most charming spots in Paris. I walked along the canal, watching the long, narrow boats slowly float by. I saw local people sitting on benches having their morning coffee and reading the newspaper. It was a peaceful and relaxing place, a place to just breathe in the quiet beauty of the city. I stopped at a small cafe right by the water where I ordered a pain au chocolat for $3.50 and a cup of espresso for $2.50. The pastry was warm, and the chocolate inside was melted. As I took my first bite, I thought it was perfect. As I was walking, I heard a familiar voice call my name. "Nick!" I turned around, and I couldn't believe my eyes. It was my friend, Sarah. She happened to be in Paris at the same time. We were both so excited and surprised to see each other. I was really glad to have someone to explore with on my last day. we decided to head to Lamare, a trendy neighborhood filled with beautiful boutiques, art galleries, and incredible food. We stopped at a small market where we bought some cheese for $5, some charcuterie, which is a type of cured meat, for $7, and some fresh fruit for $3. Then we went to the Place des Vosges, one of the oldest and most beautiful squares in Paris, to have a mini picnic. We sat on a bench enjoying the delicious food, talking about our travels and laughing. Sarah shared a funny story about getting lost in Rome, and we both agreed that the best part of traveling is the memories you make and the people you meet. After our lovely picnic, Sarah and I decided to explore the Latin Quarter, one of the most historical neighborhoods in Paris. We walked through the narrow cobblestone streets, passing by old bookshops, watching street performers, and peeking into busy cafes. The area was full of energy, but it also had a quiet, old-world charm. We visited the Panthéon, a grand monument that honors some of France's greatest figures, like Voltaire and Rousseau. The entrance fee was about $12, but it was worth it. Inside, I admired the stunning architecture and learned about the rich history of France. Afterwards, we went to Shakespeare & Company, a very famous English-language bookstore right across from the Notre Dame Cathedral. I love books, so this was a special stop for me. I bought a book on Parisian history for $15 as a souvenir, and I spent a while just browse through the crowded shelves, smelling the wonderful scent of old paper. One of my last stops was the Luxembourg Gardens. This is a beautiful public park with fountains, statues, and lush greenery. The sun was shining, and the park was filled with people walking, reading on benches and relaxing. I took a seat by one of the large fountains and watched children sailing small toy boats on the pond. The Luxembourg Gardens are known for being a perfect place to unwind and take in the peace and beauty of Paris. It was a serene and magical moment that I will never forget. As the day turned into evening, I wanted to see Paris from a different perspective one last time. So Sarah and I went on another Seine River cruise. We boarded a boat near the Eiffel Tower for what they called a romantic evening cruise, which cost $20. The boat slowly glided through the river. As we passed famous landmarks like the Louvre and Notre Dame, all lit up against the night sky, I couldn't stop smiling. The cruise was filled with soft music, the sound of laughter, and the gentle sound of water lapping against the boat. I felt so lucky to be experiencing Paris in such a beautiful way this time, with a friend by my side. As I headed back to my hotel later that evening, I couldn't help but reflect on my incredible journey. Paris had been everything I dreamed of, and even more. It was a city that had welcomed me with open arms, a city full of history, art, food, and adventure. Every single moment from the solo picnic by the Eiffel Tower to the evening cruise with Sarah had felt like a dream. I had learned so much, not just about Paris, but about myself. Traveling alone had taught me the importance of stepping out of my comfort zone and embracing new experiences. It reminded me that the world is full of incredible places, people, and stories that are waiting to be discovered. As I packed my bags and prepared to leave, I realized that this trip to Paris was just the beginning. There are so many more places I want to explore, and I know that I will continue to learn, to grow, and to be inspired by the world. To everyone watching this story, I want to say this: do not wait for the perfect time to travel. If you dream of going somewhere, take that first step. The world is full of adventures waiting for you, and the memories you make will last for a lifetime. Travel not only opens your eyes to new places, but it also opens your heart to new possibilities. So pack your bags, step out of your comfort zone, and make your dreams come true. Thank you so much for joining me on this unforgettable journey through Paris. I hope you felt like you were right there with me, experiencing it all. If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and never stop believing that you can create your own incredible journey. Remember, the world is waiting for you.